Hello there, many thanks for joining us on Razep Africa this beautiful day. Good morning, Africa. Today's Monday, and as usual, we have so much packed up for you. We'll start with the African news update, where we tell you stories happening across this continent of ours, and of course, get to analyze those stories. We'll also have agriculture for today and tomorrow. That interesting segment that goes into the agricultural sector, and especially what is the update in that sector, what you too can do to be part of this wonderful sector that ensures we have food on our table. And I had to drag Daniel Black right here, the producer of that segment, right here to come spend some time with me this Monday morning. Daniel Black, how are you?
I don't know why you think you dragged me. It's always
I did, literally dragged you.
Sitting here and discussing.
Black Ocean State, did you see it coming? And, with all the confidence that the APC party showed, I would win this elections, was what the Ademiji said.
Joy, if you think you would drag a farmer into politics. But anyway, yeah, it was a refreshing scenery in Nigerian politics, looking at the fact that an opposition to the federal could actually stand their ground, and we would say a similitude of the right thing has been done.
Absolutely.
To show that if you play your local politics, do your job, you stand a chance. It's not just that someone has sat somewhere in Aso Rock and decided who wins and who doesn't win. So it was actually refreshing to see.
And the margin wasn't one that you would ignore.
Oh yes. I really wonder the kind of manipulations even that would have been done with such margins. And then it also surprisingly showed that Governor Adeleke is popular in spite and despite.
And he told everyone that you are all jealous because you can't dance. I'm
guilty of one of those people. I really didn't know much about him prior to this election, and I just knew him as a dancing governor. But it's surprising to know that even in his jovialness, even with him dancing and not being the conventional governor, he was actually still doing the work. I saw people giving testimonies of him coming to change the narrative of civil servants being paid their full salaries after multiple tenures of half salary and no salary sometimes.
Daniel Black, are we giving credit to someone who pays salary after they tripled allocation to the state? I mean,
the fact remains that in the country of the blind, a one-eyed man is king.
Okay, yes. Okay. So we want more than that. I had a lot of narratives like that, and it was quite funny because we were giving kudos and accolades for what should be second nature to you.
I think we should learn to celebrate the small wins. This is a country where road infrastructure, a basic amenity as road, a basic amenity as housing, as school, is still a big challenge in Nigeria. So if any governor has stood up to pay salaries, I think we should encourage them.
I'm almost embarrassed
to go beyond.
I'm almost embarrassed to admit that it's true. I don't live in a bubble. I understand how it goes. Pensioners are paid and they're like, oh my goodness.
Exactly.
In fact, it goes to the smallest of things. Electricity comes and you're like, never.
You go through surgery in Nigeria and come out like thank God. In fact, that is why most people go to church to ignore the effort of the doctors and thank God for it.
Did you see that meme where the doctor was like, after spending how many hours
in surgery, where
person is like,
receiving your salary is a miracle. It's a big deal. It's something politicians can use to toot their horn. So imagine if all Adeleke did was pay salaries and he received such massive love. What are other governors doing? What did other governors of Ocean State do? So please do not want to water down his success because you feel that.
Please may he continue paying salaries.
Yes, please. At least
whatever you do, pay salaries. In spite and despite the allocations that are now tripled to the state and the monies in his coffers.
When we keep saying tripled to the state, you understand the inflation that has taken place. you understand that the value of money. I saw it. I have not done the economics, but someone posted on social media. If you earn 150,000 5 years ago and you currently earn 500,000, you were poorer. You've just become poorer. The figures look bigger, but the value of that 500,000 to 150,000 5 years ago is not the same. So in as much as
don't downplay it like that.
No, it's not downplaying. We are all victims of the inflation.
But that's not to say that if we have accountability in this country, Nigerians would be appreciating salary payment.
You know what just came to my mind? That our internal joke of accountability and
sustainability and transparency.
These are buffaloes that people throw around.
Yeah, call them what you like.
We need to celebrate the little things and then grow from there.
Are we growing? Would we grow? Anyway, thank you so much, Daniel Black, for that. But we're coming now. We're taking the segment now to discuss happenings across Africa. So we start with Zambia, where the president Hakainde Hichilema appears to be heading towards an outright victory as vote counting resumes after violence disrupted the process. The Electoral Commission temporarily suspended counting after attacks at some polling stations, including reports of stolen ballot papers. The opposition has raised concerns about the credibility of the process. So Zambia went to the polls to choose a president, and apparently democracy decided to add a little action to the movie of the program. Hichilema is seeking a second term, with the economy and the cost of living among major other issues facing voters. And in fact, the ballots are still being counted, but the political temperature is already very high. This isn't what we faced here in Nigeria now, did we? Where we're not having ballot papers being hijacked. We're not having that kind of violence.
Yes, while we are not having those, but it's beautiful that in most African countries, elections has always been dramatic. There's always something.
That's beautiful.
Democracy in itself is alien to Africa. We are adopting this culture, and we have been told that this is the best form of government. So I think Africa is trying to localize, make democracy, have a unique African democratic system.
So we have peculiarity to our own democracy.
Of course. And then so the Western democracy is fighting the African democracy. Yeah. I think with time we get to rebalance.
But Black, how dare anybody point a finger at Africa? Who sets the standard? This is the same America that, as we speak, Donald Trump is saying the law is just too strong. Otherwise, frankly, I wanted to run for third term.
Sometimes I really wonder.
They say, now one mama born all of us at the end of the day.
Fine, in as much as now one mama born all of us, but you all remember that everything we do today, we were colonized by these people, and we are yet to be fully free from the shackles of that.
I'm just saying, nobody should have a high ground, or almost as if the Africans are timid in their democratic process, or they are trying to get a third term. Your president wants a third term. His problem is just that Congress will not approve. That's all.
You see, yes. So anyway, let me not battle it, but I really think that Africa is trying. I want to give kudos to Africa. We are trying to turn something that is not really ours to become ours.
And Nigeria has really done a good job. Uninterrupted democracy since we embraced it. So yes, smirk, even if you like smirk. That's something to celebrate the little wins you see.
What should be our priority? The form of government or the welfare of the people? Uninterrupted democracy should be something we should celebrate if it has brought benefit, if it has elevated the people. Has it actually elevated the form of
side by side the democracy that we face and the military regime that we face? Would you honestly pick the military regime?
So I didn't live much of the military regime, but
I apologize. Yes. I looked at you and thought you were in the I wasn't in the civil war. I apologize.
But you also agree with me that there has been there has been a decline. there has been a decline, because we've heard stories of our parents finishing schools and giving stipends, jobs waiting for them, enjoying scholarships and all of that. Right now, those things are no more in place, even with this long time of military rule, and in fact a boom in oil gas prices. But most of the things we've heard when our parents want to brag and say in our time, we can't find them anymore. So I really don't know which generation you are juxtaposing, but I really think that the military rule at some points had their mark on Nigeria. The democratic rule that we are growing is still
no, I know people like you. I won't come out talking about the ills of military rule and
democracy also has its ills.
Absolutely.
So please, let's not throw the baby away with the bathwater.
Okay, so I hope you didn't join the coup plotters. But we move on now to Zimbabwe, where Zimbabwe is mourning after the death toll from the Lake Kariba ferry disaster climbed sharply. It is reported that authorities put the toll at 84 on Sunday. The ferry capsized on Lake Kariba, leaving families searching for loved ones and authorities facing a difficult recovery operations. A tragedy on the water has once again raised uncomfortable questions about safety standards, emergency preparedness when people board a ferry. Of course, they should be worrying about weather and not whether the ferry itself will become the breaking news. Like, am I going to be a statistic today and all that? But yes. I've also seen some of these ferries so overloaded.
Our heart really goes out to the lost ones, and we clearly sympathize with them. I don't turn this to be an African thing. These safety concerns are a global issue.
Absolutely.
And yes, while sometimes some of these ferries, I don't know from the report you read if we had reports of overcrowding situations in that, but of course you know that we have some weather conditions that could overtake
absolutely.
These instances. So we just want to condole with those that have lost loved ones, and also call for more government effort on ensuring safety on our waterways.
Have you wondered how while it's not an African thing, but because we don't have PPPs, protective gears in the waters, we see sometimes overloading. It makes these disasters, even the statistics of it, even more.
I'm going to give this example in a small, irrespective of, I was in New York just last year, and we took a ferry from the Brooklyn Bridge over to where the Statue of Liberty is, and we were not given PPE, we were not given life jackets. Everybody entered the ferry. We I think over 150, if I don't exaggerate, or even up to 200 people.
No, of course, but
we were not given PPEs, right. And the waves, it was very cold, it was very windy, the waves were blowing. We were lucky to be there on a windy day, and all of that. My sincere condolences goes to these people, but I really just want to specify that this is not necessarily an African thing. In New York, in the Western world, we have ferries that have been plying, and they've not been overly cautious on these safety issues, which is not a reason that we should not either, but let us not make it look like it's something peculiar to Africans.
Absolutely. Now for some good news, we move to Cameroon, that they've won their first ever Women's African Cup of Nations title, defeating tournament debutants Malawi 3-0 in Sunday's final. So this is a historic moment for the indomitable Lionesses, and a reminder that African women's football continues to roar louder. Malawi have arrived as debutants, but Cameroon clearly decided there will be no participation certificate, only a trophy. Congratulations to them.
I don't know why when you started that and you said moving on to good news from Cameroon, I was expecting something else political wise.
Political wise.
Yes, we young people are putting our fingers crossed, hoping that we will have some very good news in terms of the political climate in Cameroon. But
first of all,
in the meantime,
bring back their president.
In the meantime, you're the one that has to go. I hate to specify, but I just hope that there will be a very beautiful good news in terms of the political climate in Cameroon. But in the meantime, congratulations to their female football team. They have gone ahead to make Africa proud. They've gone ahead to make their country proud, and also show that female football is a thing.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
we are proud to identify with them.
I mean, I was watching. For the times I stumbled there, which is unfortunate because with the men's league, I was a bit more interested. When the
you were interested by association, not
by association.
You didn't want to watch the men's league.
In spite of that, I also saw that a lot of people were interested by association. There's an argument. Women want to be paid as much as the men are paid, or at least there should be the gap is too much, and all of that. There's been that advocacy and all that. But when I see how the men fill up stadiums, I'm like,
while I may not be giving brief for the organizers, but I'm sure that the revenue gotten from the men's football is definitely enormously different from what is gotten from the female football, and then they need to do more in terms of publicity and in terms of revenue generation, so that they would be able to probably meet up the payments disparity.
Moving on now, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Ebola outbreak is becoming increasingly difficult to contain. It is reported that unpaid health workers have gone on strike, affecting Ebola contact tracing efforts. Meanwhile, confirmed cases have surpassed 4,500, with the outbreak spreading to a 6th province. And this is where public health becomes painfully simple. Now, you cannot ask health workers to save lives while telling them to survive without salaries.
Joy, while I'm pro-African, but this is where I will be very stern, because what is African Union exactly doing? Why are we waiting for World Health Organization to solve an African problem? Ebola has been in Africa, has been an epidemic for quite a while now. Why have we not gotten a proper African-based research team that is trying to eradicate Ebola out of Nigeria?
There's actually
please enlighten me.
Yes, we have the African Disease Control Agency. It's like
Center for Disease Control.
Center for Disease Control Agency. And
the CDC is not an African organization.
There is a CDC.
There's an African.
There's a CDC for Africa.
Beautiful.
My question is, it's not even about WHO and all of that. When you pointed at the AU, I expected, because this is a virus that can move into any neighboring country.
Exactly.
Why are we not having other countries? Nigeria is well.
So that is why I jumped to the AU level, because we should be having an African, a continental direction in terms of this Ebola crisis.
Now we know it's in Ebola.
It's Ebola.
Uganda has been.
Democratic Republic of Congo, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I expect more countries around to be so bothered.
I expect something.
We have porous borders.
But you see, Africa, we wait until there's war before we send our peacekeepers.
Oh.
This is a time where we should be sending our health workers should be joining this country to support them. African countries should be supporting humanitarian aid in terms of cash, in terms of workforce. Yes. There's a whole lot that should be going on to make sure that this does not move into the next country, or this is completely exterminated from Africa. So exactly. That is why I just talked about African Union, because that's the apex organization that should drive such intervention.
And I expected the giant of Africa to do more. I've been
this giant of Africa, like,
we're still giants.
We're giant by population. I wonder if that man down
we are just as wealthy. We are wealthier than Democratic Republic of Congo.
Joe, you know I'm an optimist, but it seems you are
more than you are.
But yes, here we are.
Yes, we are wealthy. I actually expect solidarity. I expect solidarity from African countries.
You see, African continent, while everybody is shouting about what South Africa did, I am telling you that we have this nonchalant attitude towards each other. Because how can the Democratic Republic of Congo still be battling Ebola, and African countries are all silent and we are just listening to it in the news?
Very unfortunate. Now we move on to South Sudan. The humanitarian situation is also becoming increasingly desperate. The United Nations says more than 650,000 refugees and asylum seekers could lose access to food assistance within weeks because of a severe funding shortfall. Now, the World Food Programme says it needs additional funding urgently, while more than 7.8 million people in South Sudan are already experiencing acute food insecurity. Now, the irony is brutal. People fled war looking for safety only to find out that the food assistance keeping them alive is running out.
Joy, I'm sorry I'm having to laugh, but it's an irony, it's a humorous irony, because people now planning refugees, people now planning global assistance. I don't know if they are having all the facts tossed straight. Because if people are fleeing a war-torn area, the very first consideration should be food. Those people in the refugee camps, how are they contributing to their food? Have they started planting? Have they started doing sack farming? There's a whole lot of solutions.
We will leave these solutions to when you have agriculture for today and tomorrow.
So unfortunately, I think this was a very avoidable problem.
I agree with you.
If the designers, the implementers, and the managers of these refugee camps, these internally or externally displaced people, asylum seekers, actually put in the work to sit down and plan end to end. Not just say, oh, let's welcome everybody, and then we're waiting for the West to provide aid. But here we are.
Now we move to Southern Africa, where leaders are meeting in Durban for the 46th SADC summit, with peace, security, stability, and regional development high on the agenda. Migration is also getting serious attention, with Lesotho warning that population movement is a regional issue and cannot simply be treated as South Africa's problem only. Meanwhile, South Africa continues to grapple with tensions around irregular migration. In other words, the SADC is having continental equivalent of a family meeting. Everyone has an opinion. No one wants to be blamed, and somebody still has to pay the electricity bill.
No. The thing is, while I agree that they have a serious migration problem, and as a country, in fact, some of the stands we are calling for Nigeria to be a bit more firm in its policies, right? But they had actually crossed the line when they actually started harassing migrants, foreigners in their country, making them lose their business. Mm-hmm. Some of them had to sleep outside and all of that. They had actually crossed the line because there are diplomatic channels, there are policies they could put in place that would have solved that issue more drastically. So while we understand that migration problem, it's actually a big deal, because we have not understood it in Nigeria. I would say, to the best of my knowledge, our borders are so porous. We cannot, as we sit, tell how many immigrants, foreigners are in Nigeria, and our skin is so blessed, so we can have people coming here and claim Nigerians. They don't go and get their BVN, and all of a sudden they're Nigerians.
Isn't that Nigerians are very accommodating? So what is South African? I know South Africans in Nigeria at the moment who are having the time of their life. They cannot be bothered. They are not harassed. Nigerians don't care.
And now we don't done census in a while.
And we have security issues that should force us into having a census and understanding exactly
the people in the north are consistently complaining that terrorists are coming in from Niger, from Chad and other places. What have we put in place to stop this? So while we may not go as far as South Africa went, but we need to begin to also put into consideration migration issues, because we are already grappling with infrastructure. The health system is not enough for us, the education system is not enough for us, and then we keep saying that Nigeria's population is exploding. Why is it looking like it's just Nigeria that is exploding? At some point, it is people that are migrating in here. Look at the kind of people, Mexicans that NDA found in some very far thick forest somewhere. Is it Ibadan?
If you are inviting them to that place, they would.
Mexicans would be there. So we have this very porous migration issue. This migration issue is not only South Africa, it's not only, in fact, United States, where Donald Trump is also doing his thing. Nigeria needs to also wake up and look at our migration issues. What is the process? How do we confirm people that come to say, I want to get my NIN? As of today, we are still giving people that are more than 18 years NIN. So without a father, without a mother, just walk in there and say, I want to do NIN.
And they don't connect.
They say, not a local government. Local government chairmen are using maybe a certificate of registration as a means of revenue generation. Anybody will walk in there and say, I want certificate of local government registration, and they collect it for as low as 1,000 naira, and they go and do their name. How are we putting in place to make sure that it is our citizens, actual citizens, that are benefiting from the government policies and when we say banditry, for example, and I'll say it here, the Fulanis are not just a Nigerian tribe. We have Fulanis in order
to Sierra Leone.
So how are we sure that when we say Fulani herdsmen, that they are actually Nigerian Fulanis? So these are
there's dialectal differences that some Nigerian Fulanis will say that's not, we don't know that dialect there.
How popular is that? How many of us know? Has that been factored into the security concerns and all of that? So
So finally, some economic news. India and the Southern African Custom Union, that's the SACU, made up of South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Lesotho, and Eswatini, have revived negotiations for a preferential trade agreement. The talks had previously stalled, but both sides are now looking for reducing tariffs and expanding trade in areas including automobiles, pharmaceuticals, and machinery, and of course electrical equipment. India wants greater access to African markets and critical minerals, while SACU countries want greater access to one of the world's fastest growing major economies. Basically, Africa and India are looking at each other and saying, we have resources, we have markets, why are we still behaving like strangers? That's very interesting, and I'm happy that we would finally see that some symbiotic trade, which I'm hoping would not be one lopsided. Very often.
Yes. I'm hoping the negotiators, the people you have on this conversation, are having their countries and the constituencies that they represent. They're having them at heart and are having them for just causes, so that we have a full and a very well adjudicated agreement.
We really have run out of time. Thank you so much. I wish I could let you analyze some more, but it's time for agriculture for today and tomorrow. So we go for a short break. When we come back, it will be time for Daniel Black to do his thing with the segment Agriculture for today and tomorrow. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is Razep Africa.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.
In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276, or YouTube Livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future. In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions from the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe. Agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276, or YouTube Livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future. In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions from the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe. Agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276, or YouTube Livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow. This is a Media for Agricultural Development project of GSAI, that's Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative. Today we will be looking at agribusiness and understanding what exactly a healthy agribusiness is. How does it look like, or is there even something as a healthy agribusiness? Today we will be joined by Mr. Chisom Anoniefo, the Group Managing Director of Dial and Trust Limited. Chisom, welcome to today's show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here once again.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you here, come to talk to us about a healthy agribusiness. So, I will just want to allow you to express and tell us what an agribusiness is and what a healthy agribusiness is, and of course what benefits is for someone to have a healthy agribusiness.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in from that direction. Most persons see agribusiness as just involving production, processing, and all of that. But basically, we at Meris Consults, we see agribusiness as, agriculture operating as a complete business. That is to say that agriculture not only involves production, processing, it's a complete business. Starting from production, down to operation, down to finance, down to markets, down to the people, down to having a long-term strategy. Okay. So that is why when we talk about what a healthy agribusiness should look like, we're looking at an agribusiness that has a strong business model. You understand what you are selling, you understand where your income is actually coming from. You have a strong financial management policy. You understand your revenue, you understand your cash flow, you have control of your costs and all that.
All right, thank you. I know there's more you want to say, but I just want you to break it down because our program, our majority of our program is targeted at developing smallholder farmers. So you've mentioned business model, you've mentioned projections, you've mentioned cash flow. Could you use it in simplified terms, or should I ask you this question? So can a smallholder farmer, the Baba Sugwe that just has a farm in his backyard, can he have an agribusiness, or it is meant for big wigs like Dangote and Co?
Not at all, not at all. There is always this misconception where people think a healthy agribusiness is one that people tend to measure a healthy agribusiness with the size of the farm, how many number of animals you have and all that. But, having a healthy agribusiness starts from even the Baba that has just 10 fowls or 10.
Okay, so let's speak to that Baba now. Draw the picture of a healthy business for that Baba, a smallholder farmer.
For that Baba now who is running a small business, a healthy agribusiness means that Baba has a record-keeping model. It is keeping record. It can be manual. You don't need to have softwares and cloud and all that. It can be manual. You are able to keep record the number of chickens you have in your farm. Okay. That Baba understands what is the unit cost of training one particular chicken
from start to
finish. Beautiful. That Baba is able to understand, okay, at the end of the day, this from this unit cost, we can be able to now decide what the selling price should be. Because most persons, another misconception people have, especially smallholder farmers, is that once you are getting revenue, you assume that they misplace revenue for profit. Mm-hmm. That is why a business can actually be having big.
So I don't want you to be using big terms. You're using revenue and profit. So they misunderstand that because they are selling, they think that they're making money. So they misunderstand selling. And today I sold 10 chicken, tomorrow I sold 20 chicken, and they say, we are making money. Exactly. And you say that an agribusiness should understand when they are making money, even if they are selling, whether they are making money or not.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Sorry, I know I cut you in, but I really want you to speak the language of our smallholder farmers, right? I know you're an investment advisor and all of that, so but I want you to speak that in there. So let us quickly go into what would be the benefits of that Baba or Mama, whoever, smallholder farmer. Why do you think he should aim at having a healthy agribusiness instead of just having his regular farm?
Because that is the only way they can scale. And
what is scaling?
Scaling means growing.
Okay.
Expanding.
Yes.
That is the only way they can understand if the business is actually profitable. And you can't expand when your business is not profitable. You need to first of all understand the business, before you can be able to scale. So one of the advantages of, putting all these things into place is that it helps you to understand where you are coming from. You will now be able to use that to position your business to where you want to actually be.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, because the man will say, most smallholder farmers, in fact, they mix their income. When they sell 2 chicken, that's the one they used to eat, and then maybe when they do another business or collect salary, they use it to buy feed. There's a whole lot of mixture between household income or household expenses and the so-called agribusiness expense. And so just in very short terms, maybe you can list maybe 5 or less things that you think that smallholder farmer should do to begin to have a well-structured, healthy agribusiness.
Okay, when you were speaking, you actually made mention of one of them, which is, trying to separate your personal income from your business income. Which is one very big mistake most smallholder farmers make. They don't have a way of separating their personal income from their business income. They make money from their chicken sales. Before you know it, they're using it to spend on family expenditure. So there should be a clear differentiation between that business income and personal income. Mm-hmm. Then again, there should be proper record keeping.
Okay.
There should be proper record keeping to be able to understand that your unit cost.
So you should be able to record when you buy feed, how many you are using per time, how many birds you're feeding, and when the feed finished, and how much you bought. So that record should be in place, even if it's manual, according to you.
Yes, even if it's manual, it doesn't have to be.
So you have another. Okay, so we've talked about record keeping. We've talked about differentiation of finances. The business finance and the household finance should be very different. Okay.
Exactly. There should also be internal control, as little as it is. You know, so long as you have, as a smallholder farmer, yes, the business might still be small, but there is room for expansion. And when it comes to scaling, you need to first of all be able to, structure your business in such a way that that business, no matter how small it is, if it is about internal control, mustn't be about software. Like I said again, it can be understanding your SOP. Your standard operating procedure. It's something you can be writing down, noting it down. You know what you actually, the process it takes you to do things in your farm, in such a way that you are documenting it in such a way that tomorrow, if your business should grow a little, you can employ someone and someone will be able to follow that same procedure.
Or even if you get to go for a wedding in the village.
Yes, so that
workers and people
be able to
follow the system and operate without you being on there. Even if you have one or two chickens. And you mentioned internal control. Another thing I would like to add to that your internal control is the fact that it is a household business does not mean every Tom, Dick and Harry should go and harvest eggs. If you are using poultry, for example, there should be somebody in charge of harvesting eggs so that we keep records. We know when one egg is missing or is not missing, and we're able to tell. There should be someone in charge of feeding. There should have internal control. Even if it is household members, we should have dedicated people responsible for particular things, and then also keeping records. Is there another thing you want to add as something they should do to have a healthy business?
Basically, most times when people want to go into agriculture, they go into agriculture simply because they feel agriculture is lucrative, because they hear agriculture is profitable. But my advice to young entrepreneurs or small scale farmers is always to, first of all, try to understand the problem you are trying to solve, understand the need, understand your market, and be able to start with what you can be able to manage. Then grow from there. Okay, sir. Thank you. Now, I want you to change. We are going to change our audience now. Don't talk to Baba Sowe or Mama Saro anymore. Talk to Baba Sowe's child, son, a young boy who is digitally inclined, who is seeing things on social media, and maybe he's not interested in his father's business because he thinks that poultry business is dirty business. Now, I want you to talk to him. How can he leverage this business his father already has? And instead of going to start something afresh, probably he has been doing this business with his father when he was young. His father used to say, go and feed the chicken, go and train it, go and do so he knows the business. But maybe as he's grown, the way his father has done it has not allowed him interest in the business. Talk to those set of young people now. How can they leverage on their father's existing business with the history their father has, the customers, the client base they already have, the knowledge they already have, to transform it into a modern day business? Okay, to do that is quite very I know it's a bit, like you said, it's a bit complicated in the sense we talk about lack of interest because they feel it's a dirty business and it's not the kind of business. Or it's not even paying as much as they want. Yes. But because of the level of knowledge that son has, there is a way that business can be structured. It's about creating systems, like I talked about earlier. It's about creating system, having an SOP, And I want you to throw light into maybe registration of that business to be able to. Yes. I want you to throw light into that. Be able to. First of all, when we talk about structuring the business, we start from both CAC registration, having that business registered, opening a corporate account for the business, starting, ensuring bookkeeping in that very particular business, ensuring you put in that every bit of that business is being recorded. You talk about also trying to both the physical environment of the business, trying to put it in such a way that it's something befitting packaging it a little bit so that it makes you feel comfortable whenever you come to that
presentation.
Whenever you come to that very particular office. Opening a social media page where for visibility purposes, because
also increasing sales
as well. Having a social media page and all of that, and being able, that record keeping is very, very important, because when you are talking about scaling, your bookkeeping is what should be able to tell your story even before you tell the story about that very particular business.
Okay, of course, your bookkeeping will tell how many beds you have had, how many you've been able to
your revenue, yes, from there you'll be able to get your revenue histories and all that.
One quick question as we begin to round up. The question now is there any time that's too late for a farmer, a smallholder farmer, to begin to transform his business into a healthy agribusiness?
Definitely, there is no time that is too late. They can start at any point in that very particular business. The most important thing is to start. Thank
you, Mr. Chisom, for availing us of your time. I know that, in fact, if farmers were to come for a consultation, it would cost them a six-figure consultation fees. But we thank you so much for coming on today to enlighten farmers about healthy agribusiness. You've heard it all. You can transform your business from any time you begin to put in the structures in place. And of course, transforming your small farm into an agribusiness is beneficial for you. Like he has mentioned, you can grow from there, you can access funding from there, you can access a whole lot of support, and of course, you can even tell your story using your agribusiness documentation. You can put structures in place and begin to have a properly and a well-structured business that you can be proud of, and you can say, oh, in this time and age, this is a business that I'm going. And there is no time that is too late. You can actually transform the business you inherited, because you cannot just waste the 3 years knowledge you have had running your father's pig business of water leaf farm or ugu farm, and just because you feel it is unattractive, you decide to go into town or you decide to move out and look for another kind of business. You can actually transform it into a thriving agro business. That is all we'll be taking today on agriculture for today and tomorrow. Remember, this show is meant to educate, sensitize, and inspire young people, inspire smallholder farmers to begin to adopt sustainable farming practices that will increase their profitability and, of course, their economic value. You can contribute to this show by going on our social media at GSA Initiative on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. And you can also send us a message on our email at gsa-official@gsa-initiative.org, and visit us on our website www.gsa-initiative.org. Thank you. I remain Daniel Black, your host. I'll see you in the next episode.
In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276, or YouTube livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. we bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television. Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.